What's going on, class? Bobby Whitford here, coming at you with another homework package and a new type of exercise program that we're going to be doing for the next couple of weeks here. So we are going to begin our high intensity interval training unit, which is also known as HIIT training. HIIT with a T, not a P. So I'll give you a bit of a rundown about what this exercise is and why it's useful and how to do it. So the whole premise of this type of exercise is basically trying to keep the intensity high, meaning how hard you feel you're working. So with greater intensity is going to have better results. Now, what that's going to look like is let's say we're going to use a scale of 1 to 10. And let's say 1 is I don't feel like I'm exercising at all, and 10 is I'm done, I can't exercise anymore, I'm too tired. So what we want to do is when we're training for this program, I want you to be trying to get around that 7 to 8 range. So remember, 1's meaning like I'm not exercising at all, and 10's like I can't exercise anymore. I want you to aim for that 7 to 8 range when you're training. And the reason why we want to do this individual type of rating is that everybody's different. So what I might find intense might not be as intense for Hutch, or what Hutch finds intense might be, really, really easy stuff for Travis, right? So it's all about making sure that we're adjusting how hard we're working to our individual needs. So that's why I want you guys to make sure that when you're doing this, you keep an idea of what your 7 to 8 range is, and then make sure that you're working within that range. Because if you're working too hard, it's going to be really, really tough, and you might end up getting sick or something like that. So we want to avoid that, but we still want to get a good workout in. So the reason why this type of exercise is good, it's actually really, really good for weight loss. So the idea behind the intensity is that if you're working out at a greater intensity, your body's going to have to adapt to that. So if you're working at a higher intensity, your body's going to have to burn more calories to help you have the energy that you need to get through the exercises. And so when you do this type of training, you're going to burn a lot more calories than you would in this, however long the workout is compared to maybe other types of training. So how it works is when you're doing this type of exercise, you're going to burn a lot of calories just from the exercise itself, but it's also going to stimulate your basal metabolic rate, which is basically like your body's ability to burn calories through the other tasks of the day. And so the higher basal metabolic rate you have, the more calories you're going to be burning throughout the rest of the day. If you think about weight loss in terms of calories, if you're eating 2,500 calories a day, and then you decrease that by 100 calories in a day, then you will theoretically be able to lose weight. It's all about calorie input versus output. So if you are eating too many calories and not burning enough, then you will put on additional body fat. Whereas if you are exercising quite a bit and eating at a caloric deficit, meaning you're not eating as many calories as perhaps the other guy, then you are more likely to burn calories, lose weight, burn fat. So this type of workout is really, really good. It's very efficient, meaning you get it done really quickly, and then the results that you'll get within this little workout window are going to be far greater than some types of other exercises that people might be doing in the gym. So how the program works is you are going to be doing 4 workouts total, and they're all going to be body weight exercises, and you're going to complete each workout twice. And I'll have videos for each individual workout, along with the exercise demonstration and explanation of how I want you to be doing them. So how it's going to work is each workout you're going to have 6 exercises you're going to do. And you're going to do them for 30 seconds each. So you'll do, just an example, you'll do, say, push-ups, squats, leg raises, lunges, backflips and burpees or something like that. You'll do each one of those 30 seconds. So you do the push-ups for 30 seconds, then after 30 seconds is over, then you move to the next exercise. And then you do as many repetitions of that exercise as you can within those 30 seconds, and then you go to the next one. So you end up doing, you'll do 6 different exercises within 3 minutes, and then you will have a 1-minute rest, and then after that you will redo it over again. So you're going to have 6 sets of 30-second intervals with a 1-minute rest. You're going to do the whole thing 3 times. So it ends up being a workout of 12 minutes total. So that might not seem like a very long workout. It really isn't, but when you're doing this type of training, that can feel like an eternity. So just know that, that's why I'm making sure that you guys are trying to train within that 7 to 8 rating of perceived exertion, RPE as we call it. Train in that range. That way you're still stimulating your body the way you need to, but it's not so intense that you can't keep going. If you're doing, if your first exercise, or if after your first cycle, you're like, I was maybe at like a 5, my rating was at a 5, then what you should do is try to increase the intensity by maybe increasing the speed that you're doing your exercises at. So maybe you're doing your push-ups too slow, or maybe you only ended up getting you only did 2 squats for some reason at 30 seconds. Trying to increase the speed or the amount of repetitions you get done in that 30-second window will help you increase the intensity. And if you are if it's too much after you've done the first circuit, you're like, wow, I'm at like a 9 or a 10. What you can do would be the opposite. So making sure that, maybe you're going to do the exercises a little less fast so that you end up doing less throughout the 30 seconds. And if that's still too hard, then you can also modify the exercises to make them easier. And I'll show you guys how to do that with each individual exercise in the videos that I'm going to be posting later on. So keep the rests at 1 minute. I say this because it is going to help keep the intensity of the exercise high, which is going to be what is ultimately going to help you stimulate the hormonal changes in your body that are going to make it so that you're burning more calories later on throughout the day and so you have a better workout. If you aren't being disciplined with the 1 minute and you end up having a 5-minute rest between, then you're not going to get the intended exercise effect that we're trying to get. And it's just going to end up making your workouts take longer than you need. So it might be tough, but just make sure that you're keeping your exercises or your rests at 1 minute. And then, like I said, after 12 minutes, 3 whole cycles, and you're done. You don't have to worry about the rest of the day. So what you are going to need for this program is you're going to need a stopwatch. So what I would do is I would go onto my phone and I would go into the clock setting and then open up my stopwatch, and then I would make sure that I have the stopwatch ready beside me when I start the program. So let's say I'll start a workout, I start the clock, and then I have to do squats. I do as many squats as I can in 30 seconds. While I'm exercising, I'm still watching the clock, because when I hit that first 30 seconds, then I know I have to switch. Then I'm going to do the next exercise, which could be push-ups. And then in those 30 seconds, I'm doing my push-ups, but I'm also watching the clock. And then when I get to a minute, then that's been another 30 seconds, I will move on to the next exercise. You're going to end up, like I said, going through 6 different exercises at 30 seconds each time, and then you'll have your rest and then do it all over again. So you will need a stopwatch, because it's going to be really hard for you to count this out in your head and keep exercising. You might end up counting too slow or too fast. So it's going to be really, really helpful for you to have a stopwatch for this. Another thing is that you want to make sure you have a bottle of water. This type of exercise is pretty tiring and you're going to sweat. And so make sure that you do have that bottle of water with you. And then that way too, you're not leaving to go to the tap to get a quick drink of water and come back. And then by the time you get back, you're already 3 minutes into your rest period, right? So just making sure that you have that water bottle with you nearby, so you don't have to leave, and then you can still keep your rests at 1 minute each. And then the last thing you're going to need is probably a shower. You're going to sweat. I'm not going to lie to you. I've done HIIT training before. If you've taken my class, you've done it before. You know that it can be quite a sweaty 12 minutes. So I would suggest after you are done, if you're able to, take a shower, because you don't want to be standing around in those sweaty clothes all day. So just make sure that you're practicing good hygiene, you have your stopwatch, you have your bottle of water, and that you're perhaps taking a shower after you've done this type of exercise. Also, make sure that you're trying to get your warm-ups and cool-downs in. So remember, for warm-ups, a couple ideas could be you just do, you run up and down the stairs a couple times, you go for a jog around the house, you jog with the garbage can and back, whatever that might be, just something to get moving, get your heart pumping, get the blood flowing so that your body is ready to exercise. You're not going into a cold. Because if you go into a cold, that's probably when you're most likely to get hurt. So, and then cool downs. So after you have finished all of your exercises, that would be when you do your cool down stretch. Remember, we're doing our static stretches, and you hold for about 40 seconds for each stretch. And then a couple other tips just for HIIT training, kind of like I did before in the last video, or in the last program. Make sure that you're exercising, trying this at different times of the day. That way you know what times of day that you like exercising best. Make sure that you are trying to do it with or without a partner at different times. That way you know if you like working out with people or not. And then try working out with or without music. That way you know if it is something that you like to have or you don't need to have when you exercise. Remember, like I said, the whole idea behind this is I want you guys to be able to start to think about, okay, what do I like to do when I work out? What do I like to have people nearby? Do I like to work out in silence? Stuff like that, right? Just trying to figure out what works best for you so that you can keep yourself motivated to exercise after you're done high school. So if you have any questions about the HIIT training program, send me an email. If you need to, you can give me a phone call. Just send me an email first and ask me for my phone number, and then I'll do that. And then otherwise, get started on the program right away. We will be doing a group HIIT training virtual lesson at least once a week. So that is going to help you at least make sure that you're getting a couple of workouts done. But try to stagger it. So, every second day, make sure you're exercising. Or if you need to do 2 in a row, that's fine, but make sure you get a rest day in afterwards. You don't want to do all 8 workouts back to back to back to back to back. You're going to be way too tired by the end of it. So like I said, if you have any questions, email me. Otherwise, check out the other videos on how to do each individual workout. Have a good rest of your day and happy training. See you later. Bye.